Okay, quick VOD review for Prawn, Anna on King's Row. Initial thoughts for this game. Your starting position is fine. This is where I kind of like to default to as well. Uh, Not knowing what their team comp is and just looking at your own team comp. So with a Mercy and just a Mercy in general, excuse me. I always have to remind myself that it's more or less on me to do the healing. Like I have to take more burden for the healing onto myself whenever there's a Mercy, because Mercy's main job is like damage boosting. This is just like random thoughts really, but because you have Widow and everything, Widow should be pretty much out of the line of fire most of the time. So your main goal is like keeping your queen up and then just like putting shots on enemies as they become available, and then that'll obviously change as you realize what their team comp is. But with this actual, I just realized this is open queue actually. I got scammed. Okay, well, disregarding the fact that it's open queue, if this was this was a normal game, for your queen's sake, the biggest point of pressure for her is gonna be the Zenyatta. So just taking out the Zenyatta will relieve a ton of pressure that you would normally have on your queen. But let's just go ahead and get into it.
It's time to spin my
This game feels weirdly laggy.
Let go the turret.
Okay, so I guess first off, a little over reload. You could have just. And there's no reason really to drop either. Like if the queen's gonna play back into the hotel or whatever, that's on them. You shouldn't like compromise your position to try and save them from a dumb decision. Secondly, you could have just rotated up here if you thought there was a chance they might keep backing up. It's just kind of a weird spot. This is kind of why you want to be in voice comms every once in a while just to see what's going on. But I don't know that I would have dropped it right there. At the worst, I would have just like rotated left to where the Widow was until they dropped down and died. The monkey makes it difficult, but again, this is open queue, so I mean, I can't really tell you effectively how you should play with multiple tanks because that's just like never how I play. Like open queue is a huge meme. You're playing really close right now. We should be trying to get into a better spot, if at all possible. I'm just not sure if you're going to be able to retake, honestly. I'm not sure if you're going to get a recontest. Just because the nature of open queue is like multiple tanks versus tank. Or at least this game is, and I mean, I'm just gonna try and keep it really general because again, it's open queue. The positioning is just really close, especially with a monkey and everything. You have like no view on the enemy team or anything right now. Like you literally have no choice but to just left click monkey. Personally, I maybe would have tried to rotate up here to get a sight line on stuff that was far away. Just like with their team comp, the only thing that could really threaten you from a distance is Zenyatta, the Ana, and the Torb left click. But assuming that you're positioned well and like aware of those concepts, you can just play really far back to the point where they pretty much can't see you and you can get some shots off. But like multiple tanks makes that very difficult. The only other way you can play is inside of this room to see the tank and then just like peek every once in a while, see if you can get shots off. But again, multiple tanks makes it very odd. Because like right now, most of your value from your shots is just being lost. Because like if you're using your 75 damage heal or 75 damage 75 heal on a target that only has like 20 missing HP, you're missing out on like 50 something effective value. Where if you were putting it into an enemy, 75 damage is 75 damage all the time. Like even if it would kill them, Like the being dead part is the value of that, I'm not saying heal your team. I'm not saying to not heal your team, but it's one of those things where it's like you would get so much more value either healing someone who's lower or doing damage instead of just, continually holding left click on someone who's just like getting topped off a little bit. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it really general. I can't do this open queue stuff because it's just so chaotic.
You're
Yeah,
powered up.
like
Get in there.
general is like you should be playing like way further back and like just communicate with your team like I'm over here. Don't push up too far. Just things like that. Like just play to the effective range of your hero. Try to get off nades where you can either hit multiple allies or multiple enemies. I don't think I've seen you use a sleep dart even once this entire game. Just try to use your sleep dart a bit. Uh, don't hold your sleep dart until the enemy team gives you a reason to hold it, and then don't just like mindlessly hold left click on your tank unless they're under like 5 players worth of pressure and are like definitely going to take a ton of damage while your heel's flying through the air, because it's better to like it's better to get full value from your shots than just like barely topping off someone who's only taking just a smidgen of damage. But other than that, I'm not really gonna spend any more time on this. If you want to submit a like normal role queue game, feel free. I would gladly go over that because that's just how the game's normally played all the time.